but there is a repercussion to him, quote unquote, dying this time. He is no longer able to change forms, like to his fair form, and he is only able to appear as, the Sauron that we know, this dark clad form,
It
like
looks
Morgoth used to
awesome,
be.
though.
Yeah. And
One thing
ironically,
I will
the
just always
Eastern
say.
orcs actually respect him now because he doesn't look like a princess.
Well, I mean, with that great mace, the fact that he's just like, hitting home runs with scores of men and elves.
Yeah.
That's, if I were an orc, I would respect that.
Mm-hmm. And so he defeated Numenor. He achieved his goal, and he takes on his terrible form. And now the Eastern orcs they abide by him
Bolster his
because
army.
because Sauron can only use fear to control now. That's something that should be noted. Before, he was using gifts, just like respect, like any other ruler would
He was
do.
pretty
Now he
manipulative.
rules through fear. Yeah, of course. I mean, he's
And
corrupted.
I think one reason why you could say, like, the men who will now be fighting from now on, right, the descendants of Numenor, they're a bit weaker because only 4 or 5 ships of Numenorians survived, led by Elendil and his sons. And that was the formation of Arnor and Gondor. So, like, the settlements that were already there, they now expanded to become kingdoms, with Umbar actually staying loyal to the king, so they are now known as the Black Numenorians.
Yes, and they're called the Dunedain now instead of Numenorians. They're called the Dunedain, and their lifespans will decrease as they procreate with the middlemen. So their blood thins out a little bit, but the royal families do retain most of it.
They're still very powerful.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're still 8 feet tall, like god people. So yeah,
true. It's actually like so I don't quoting this from the Lord of the Rings. It's just more of actually recounting a memory. When the siege of Gondor is about to start in the books, and Prince Imrahil arrives with, I think, 100 knights of Arnor to reinforce the defenses of Gondor. The way Tolkien made it sound, now I can't remember that exact paragraph, but the way he described it, that feeling still is with me. It just sounds like you're not getting just 100 knights, you're getting like an army of like 50 to 60,000 men reinforcing you. The way they were just speaking in awe of the Knights of Arnor that Prince Imrahil led. And so that's really like, the power of Numenor, even 3,000 years after its destruction. And the powers are diluted, but they're still so powerful. And why do you think I really love the Numenorians? And just one thing, I'll just get back to Sauron. The fact that he doesn't want to control things he knows he cannot control is something that really separates him from Morgoth.
Oh yeah, I should mention, Sauron in the Second Age is more powerful than Morgoth was at the end of the First Age, and people might be like surprised to hear that because Morgoth is, he's one of the highest of the beings, whereas Sauron is like,
and not to mention Melkor was considered the strongest of the Valar.
Yeah, the reason why is Morgoth created his own ring, which was Arda. So when he corrupted Arda, he marred it, as Tolkien said. He infused his power into Arda to do whatever he does. So anything he corrupts, any mountain he makes, all the things that he's molding and manipulating, it takes away power from himself, and it also physically binds him more and more to Arda. That's important.
I think it's also the fact that he does it so quickly and rapidly, so it's not like his powers generate back.
Well, he spends his power, and he spends it making all of his armies during the First Age, all of his wars. Sauron then inherits all of this because he doesn't have to make they corrupt all of these things into being. It's all just sitting there. He has to just convolute them to his will and get them to obey him. When he creates the One Ring, that's actually Sauron's
creation.
That's what screwed him. Yeah.
He poured a lot of his life force into it, but that's what saves his life.
It's what saves his life, but it's also what makes his weakness. Morgoth's weakness was he divulged too much of his power and he weakened himself so that he could be destroyed.
It just reminds me of one video I saw, parody group, where you find the Dark Lord and you have to find the obvious weak spot. But I think why I wanted to speak about Sauron and his strategy is, if it was Morgoth in the Second Age, right? Like, let's just assume that he would have tried to control Numenor outright or defeat them by brute force.
Mhm. Yeah,
Sauron, the
he
way
didn't have much thinking. He wasn't
yeah,
very yeah.
he's a brute. He doesn't have strategic sense. Sauron, the way he destroyed Numenor, like sure, it did cost him his ability to transform and move amongst the elves,
Oh, worth it. For history, it was very good play.
but the fact that he just got rid of like what 99% of super soldiers, it's brilliant. And another thing is he never like we never know how many Balrogs really lived and served Melkor. We know it'll be at least a dozen under
It's 3 or
Gothmog.
4 or something, yeah.
No, I don't think it is. It's just not known. We just know the names of two, Gothmog and Durin's Bane. We don't know for sure because some suggest there were because when Ungoliath harmed Melkor and he screamed, right? We know it's the way it's described is there are several, way more than 5, 6 Balrogs at least. It sounds like that came to his aid. So that's why I disagree with you for 4. But we don't know the true number. But Sauron never really went after them to recruit them to his
No,
cause.
because they're equals. The Balrogs are the same as him. They're corrupted Maia, so they're at the same power level. When he has the ring, perhaps he could, like
But he
Smaug or
knew,
another dragon. It's the same thing. Perhaps he could dominate them, but they're on equal level in power. So Durin's Bane,
and
for example, yeah,
yeah, he just hid. And I think it's also the fact that Sauron knew that they only really would serve Morgoth. I know because like I guess maybe I'm just quoting Shadow of Mordor again or War or Mordor. When that powerful shaman of the orcs wants to summon uh
oh, yeah, the Balrog,
the
and then you fight,
Balrog,
yeah, with Yavanna. Yeah. I
but
mean, yeah, I
I
like the
think
game,
he
but it's
was.
still silly.
But I really do think that they would not obey Sauron willingly. As you said, right? They're equals, and he's smart enough to know that it's not really worth the effort of trying to get them. So it's just more that strategic insight that Sauron really has in knowing how to operate is just makes him a really amazing character.
Much more so than Morgoth. And like I was saying,
Emo
so
kid with
Morgoth,
daddy issues. That's it. I
yeah.
always love using that term.
So Morgoth, he loses basically by infusing his power into Arda. Sauron inherits all that, so he doesn't have to use his power to dominate orcs. He just, he's just a ruler. He just gets them to come under his banner. But when he makes the One Ring, then he has done the exact same mistake that Morgoth did. He infused his power into this ring, and it is his vulnerability. It is binding him to Arda, and if it's destroyed, he'll be destroyed. So in many ways, it does make him more powerful. It heightens his dominance, let's say, but it's also his weakness. So now Sauron knows he defeated Numenor, and he realizes that his enemies are probably going to come and get him. So he starts to rally all the orcs, the Easterlings, the Haradrim, Black Numenorians, and it's said that even some dwarves fight on his side. We don't know who, but you can imagine it must have been some of the houses in the east. And they start to, strike first. They go after what is Gondor, this kingdom in exile. He leads a surprise attack on Minas Ithil. Isildur and his family end up fleeing to Arnor, leaving Anarion to defend Osgiliath and Minas Arnor.
And I think that was Minas Ithil also Anarion was defending from Sauron's forces.
But Sauron has kind of given up what he's doing. So all of these people who are fleeing north, they run over to places like Imeldris, and they meet with the representatives, I guess, in Arnor. So this would be in Amun Sol. So Elendil, Gilgalad,
Is
everybody.